Hey, you comic book geeks, sci-fi freaks, comic book Casey coming at you from Comics, Beer, and Sci-Fi. We are live streaming right here in downtown Plymouth at State of Comics Comic Book Shop, and it is Free Comic Book Day. And I am here with one of the VIPs that is near and dear in our heart of the comic book community. This is Samantha Yankee. She is the operations manager for the Motor City Comic Con, MC3 to those of you that know. That is coming up in about 2 more weeks. So Sam, why don't you put them on point with MC3?
Well, do you want me to hold this? Okay, cool. I am so excited for this year. We've got Jeremy Renner coming. We've got Bill Nye as a millennial. And I mean, kids nowadays still watch Bill Nye. But Blue's Clues Trio is coming as well. Steve, the OG. He's actually going to be doing a costume photo op for charity. 100% of the proceeds are going to the Starlight Children's Fund, I believe. So he's donning the shirt once again. We've got a lot of great comic guests, cosplay contest, kids cosplay contest, Dungeons and Dragons, movie screenings. It's going to be legit.
Okay, and I'm going to let you hold that. I got some questions for you.
Okay, great.
Okay, so now Motor City Comic Con has been expanding and getting bigger and bigger each and every year. And now I got friends coming with their kids, and now I have to go outside of the convention to show them all the children's activities. So I'm being a tour guide now. But
great, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it.
Free.
It's for everybody. It's really family friendly, and it's for kids of all ages, from 1 all the way up into, 81.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of people will bring carriages or wagons and have their kids and then start loading it up with the stuff that they're buying and swap the kids for the collectibles.
Costumes.
Yeah.
And carriages are decorated up like a little Batmobile or something. I've seen all of that.
Yeah, and the kids cosplay contest is adorable. It's actually, if you want to just watch the cosplay contest, you got to get there early because the room fills up.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, the kids strike a pose. It's great.
It is. And being a parent, my kids are grown now, but I used to love to get them ready for Halloween and everything. Okay. Yeah.
You hold it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I used to, I know, right? So, weights. But, I used to get my kids ready for Halloween sometimes and everything. But so it's fun to watch other people doing it, the cosplay, because now it's taken off so much to where it's popular for adults. It's not so bad to see a grown man wearing spandex.
I mean, sometimes it is, but no, I'm just kidding.
No.
Everyone wears a costume or a T-shirt or a hat. Like, you don't even have to own anything nerdy. You will find stuff there. We have a lot of people that'll wear a cosplay and be missing that one piece, and they'll find it at the show.
I'm glad you bring that up because I have friends that are diehard cosplayers, male and female. And one of their biggest problems with some of the Comic-Cons is they're not allowed to bring in their swords. Mm-hmm. And they make a good point. They say, but they're selling real swords there.
Yeah. So I don't think we have any vendors this year that are selling real swords. If you buy a sword, you would bring it straight to your car. We do have a really great security team that checks all the weapons that come in. We have a weapons check before you even enter the convention. And if it's not sharpened, usually it's allowed in, but our security team makes the judgment call on that.
How do they check the sharp swords from the dull ones? I missed that process.
I mean, I haven't personally seen it, but we've got some crazy security guards, so I'm pretty sure they'll just,
Some of those guys got beards. I wonder if they just try to see if it's just shave themselves with it.
Yeah, they come back into the con and suddenly they're clean shaven. Yeah. Probably. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, because because people have come to me like, hey, we want to bring our swords in and everything, and I'm like, I don't know how that works. I don't call the shots there. I know the guns that look too real for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. You can't do that, but I get it. You want to look like a Viking or a barbarian or something. You want your actual item or weapon that comes with it, but.
Really, foam is the way to go. And honestly, it's lighter to carry around. Have you carried around a real sword before? Those things are heavy.
Yeah, I have a sword collection, actually. But they stay at home, though. I don't carry them around in public, okay? I'm not a total lunatic.
Yeah.
But no, they're around for show around the house. But so now also with Motor City Comic Con, what year are we in now?
Oof. I think we're in 35. Yeah, big year, milestone year.
Yeah.
So it was founded in 1989, but I believe the first actual show was in 1990.
Okay, so I remember coming when it was only maybe, I don't know, 100 people in line.
Yeah.
You can actually get in.
Is it the Dearborn Center that you went to?
Went there first, but then when I moved to Novi, I'd be getting in within 5 or 10 minutes. Those days are long.
Yeah, no, you can't do that now.
You're waiting out there with thousands of people.
Yeah, line wraps around the building.
Yeah, I missed the good old days, but I'm glad it's the way it is now because it makes it. And then to actually be a vendor there and to be doing this, filming, live streaming, podcasting there. I never thought that was going to ever happen, but and you guys are our home show. This is home base for us. And every time we go to any other Comic-Con, we're always blasting out Motor City Comic-Con to the vendors. Yeah, we're trying to convince the vendors that whether we're in LA or Boston or Jersey or Florida, we're always telling them, you got to come to Motor City Comic-Con. If you're doing it here, do it there. And it's actually technically more economic friendly at Motor City than it is some of those other events. Not trying to say anything against them, but
yeah, but I get it. I started out as an exhibitor. I did wood burning, so I have been to New Orleans and Seattle, and I've been all over. So I get it. Like the prices, depending on where you go, especially when they're in the city, they can be high.
Well, yeah, because I'll ask them, what did you pay for this one? They tell me, I'm like, you got to come to Motor City. You'll get a better deal, you know. So, and then plus it's just, you know, a lot more of in my opinion, a lot more of a family-friendly atmosphere. Maybe I'm just saying that because it's home for me.
No, I think that was obvious when because I vended at Motor City before I started working for the show. So I think that was an obvious thing right away, this was family-friendly, and I'm just going to say it, like a spendier crowd. Like people come there expecting to find great handmade pieces, one-of-a-kind, like stuff from our retailers. The celebrity guests that we're bringing in are amazing. The comic guests are amazing. So I think people just come expecting an all-over better experience. And like you said, it just being family-friendly, just completely different than any other con.
Well, I'm just glad that finally, and I'm not going to take credit for this, but I've been asking for food trucks to be allowed at Motor City Comic-Con for years. I remember I was in Mr. Goldman's ear years ago saying, we got to have some other food here.
Other food options. I mean, believe me, I am there all weekend, so I also get it. Yeah. Food is important. We've got a lot of variety this year. We actually don't bring in the food trucks. It's the convention center, but we worked with them to make sure that they brought in a lot of really good options. We had some from last year that are returning, but we're also having Big B and Cinnabon there this year. I'm very excited for those two. And then Wild Bill's soda is going to be inside the convention center as well.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of options.
I like the fact that now you're also taking into consideration the vendors that are there setting up on Thursdays. Yeah. You're providing food for us on Thursdays. We never had that.
Well, so they have come in like for an hour or two because they set up, like they put the trucks out there. But I was like, we have people there all day. Can we get somebody out there? And they offered us a lunch option. And I was like, they're going to be there late. Like people will be there all day. You should have a dinner option too. And they're like, well, if you think they're going to use it, I was like, I promise you, you will be busy.
Yeah, because when we're there setting up, even when we're done, we're kind of hanging out with our people. We're with our tribe. So we want to eat, we want to, have some time to sit and talk and catch up because we're seeing vendors that are coming from all over the country that haven't seen us all year.
Yeah.
And we're playing catch up. So we're done with our table set up. We're kind of hanging out because for as long as you guys allow us to.
Yeah. I mean, we are open, I think, until like 11 o'clock sometimes on that like first setup day. And there's also the fact that as you're setting up, you lose track of time and suddenly you're starving. So to then on top of that, have to go find a place that you're going to eat that you can all, like a big group can sit together. Like it's a lot. So to just have the food truck right there and somebody go get food, bring it back, you guys all eat at the table. Yeah.
Well, plus too, when we're on setup day, here's one of my secrets. I start talking to the vendors that have cool stuff that I want to buy early on, just so by Sunday, they give me an even better deal, by Sunday because.
Yeah, I bet you were asking about this. Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of plant a, bug in there and tell them, I really like this. So if it's here still Sunday, I might come back and get this. Yeah. So when they see me come back Sunday, if they're,
I still got it for you.
Yeah, they still got it for me, especially if they're from out of state. They're just trying to sell their stuff. So, because,
I want to lug it back.
Exactly. And that's what I tell a lot of my friends and family. If you want to buy stuff, come Sunday. That's probably the best deal day. It's my little secret I'm sharing with the world right now that's watching. Sundays are the best deal day, but you want to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But spend your money on Sunday. I would say come enjoy the show Friday and Saturday, but Sunday is the day to spend.
Yeah. I mean, definitely be reasonable with the vendors. Don't say like, oh, I'll take this for $5 when it's $100. Be fair. But yeah, that is when they want to get
barter a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's more wiggle room.
Yeah, exactly.
Always got to give that disclaimer though.
Especially
some people take it a little too far.
Especially the vendors that are hand making this stuff.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Time and effort and energy.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line is going to be maybe a little bit higher, but you got to take into effect that they are making this in their home and they are spending hours and hours on it.
That's the stuff I prefer personally, is the more traditionally, I guess you could say, handmade original as opposed to manufactured high volume merchandise.
Yeah.
So I really take a lot of pride in showing people my collection around the house that I got from specific vendors at comic conventions that did it themselves.
Yeah. And we have a crafter section, which is going to be a little bit more of those like one-offs where, we've got a guy who makes wands from wood and antlers that are like local to Michigan. People who make dice themselves and dolls and like crochet stuff.
Yep.
So like there's a lot of options of like this is a actual one of a kind item.
Exactly. And it's worth more, I would think, eventually, because you might be one out of 3 or 4 people that have that. And I looked at the list. I think there's a couple vendors that we recommended from other states.
Oh,
I have to highlight that and show you who they are, because
Please do.
that shows us that they listened and they trusted us.
Yeah.
So, but we always take pride when we have people that we interview from other conventions around the country, and we convince them to give this a shot, to make the travel to Michigan, because if you live here in Michigan, it's a no-brainer. Motor City Comic Con is the home base. I've been meeting people here when we were setting up our podcast table that come to the store, shop regularly, that are now, since you guys have a presence here, saying, yeah, we haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them.
I can't believe sometimes people haven't even heard about us. I mean, I do understand it's all my life. So,
Well, no, you know what? Some of the ones I met 2 different families today. They heard, but they were afraid to take their kids because their kids were so young.
Yeah.
So it might be a dad that's a real total comic book geek, but he doesn't want to deal with lugging a baby around.
crowds.
But now their kids are older, they feel more comfortable. And I tried to explain to them, you could have taken them when they were still in a stroller.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Definitely the most family-friendly con that I've ever been to.
Yeah,
There
likewise.
are some that like maybe the aisles are a little smaller and tighter, so like the crowds really like have an effect on the family experience being in a group. But like when COVID came out, we had like much wider aisles, and we never went back to the very tight aisles. Like we brought it back a little bit. Like
Oh, it's much more spacious now, because I remember those tight days.
it was a lot.
Yeah, it's much more spacious.
Even just being with your friends, like if you didn't have young kids, being with your friend, you get separated.
Yeah.
But yeah, now you can walk around with your group of friends.
Well, I have a large group of people on the team here, so it's usually anywhere from 10 to 21 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So we always needed the space. Otherwise, we're getting on each other's nerve, stepping on each other. But those days are over. So, but yeah. So, anything else you'd like to let everybody know before it comes?
Yeah, just come to Motor City Comic Con. If you're worried about going to Comic Con for the first time, this is definitely the one to start with. It's not just comic books, even though we have a great comic book presence. It's really just all pop culture, and the community is amazing.
Agreed. I can't say it any better than that, folks. You got to get out to MC3 2025 and 2026, 2027, all the way to the end of the millennia. You got to do MC3, okay? I'm going to be there even if I'm 99 years old with a cane and a long beard. I'm going to be there greeting you.